What is up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and today we have a special show at a different time. You guys aren't used to seeing me at this time, but this might become more normal. I don't even know if the Early Bird Artcast is going to be a thing anymore. We'll see. I don't know. I've been getting up later and later these days. But anyways, today our special broadcast is we have the 9-volt Anthology, which is a really cool thing that, you guys have seen me working on Expando, and, we've worked on this anthology started by Peter Seckler and Handsome, what is it? I think it's Handsome Guy or something, on the Discord, and it's pretty freaking cool. We've been working hard trying to make this thing happen, and Peter especially has been heading it up, and it's published. We did it, and not too long after it was published, and today we have a roundtable of friends from the Discord, from the AAA creators community, and let me add one more before I switch it. Here we go. So today we have to the right of me or left of me, depending on how you guys see. Shy Guy, also known as Dale A. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Pretty good. Is there any social media or anything you'd like to point people to so they could check out your stuff?
I tend to avoid social media, but I do have an Imager account. I don't know. Maybe I'll share that at some point. But
all right. Well, for now, you can find Shy Guy over at the Anthology. So get the Anthology, which there's a link in the description, so you can check that out and you can see what he does. Next, we have Mr. Len Jennings, the mastermind of the logo for the AAA creators community, and also a pretty snazzy little saying in there: make comics, not excuses. I love that. Like, I got to start saying that more. How you doing, man?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. What about you? Do you have any places you'd like to point people to check out your stuff?
So I have a YouTube channel, Newland Media. I don't have any content on there yet. I'm still working on that. And then I do have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Newland Media.
Gotcha. All right. Well, definitely check that stuff out. I will get a link from you, actually, and then I'll throw that in the description after the show. And I think we have Peter here. It looks like we might have Peter here. How you doing, man? Where can people find you?
I guess the best place right now is my poorly maintained Instagram account, which is under Rabbit Fighter 13. It's probably the best place.
What about YouTube? You got some cool
social
videos.
Social media, yeah, YouTube. I have not updated my YouTube in a long time. So since I started out real good during the beginning of the quarantine, and it just sort of fell apart. So maybe I need to build that back up again.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your videos. So hey, maybe try doing once a week or once every couple weeks, man.
maybe that's what I'll have to do.
Cool, man. All right, so obviously I already kind of introduced, what we did, what we're doing, but I think it would even be better to hear from the man, Mr. Peter Seckler, Empyrean Bull, or DIY Do or Die. I like that too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let us know a little bit about the impetus of this whole thing.
So it kind of started out with me and Sir Handsome, and I wish he could be here tonight. His name is Evan, and I don't know. We were goofing around, and we made up. I always talk about Wiz Comics. If you remember, that was the Fawcett Comics that had Captain Marvel, Shazam, and Spy Smasher and stuff like that. And it was just a cool title. And I was trying to come up with a name for a comic, and I came up with 9-volt, and Evan drew the tongue with the battery as a joke. And then it just kind of grew from there, and it was just originally just going to be me and Evan. And so we started out. I think he got about 6 pages done on something called Robo Ninjax. It's really good. I'm so sorry he didn't get in this issue, but he had like some things that kind of sprung up, and he couldn't do it. So, but we decided to forge on anyways, and so we did. And people submitted stories. We put it together. It's available at cost. So for it ended up turning out to be like 9 stories. Hey, there's Frank.
Hey, what's up, Frank?
And I saw all these people that were on the Discord, and it seemed like, you know, everybody wanted to be doing something. And, you know, when I saw the Hundreds Anthology and a couple others, and I thought, man, I wish I was in that. And I thought, well, we could just do it, and we'll just invite everybody. And so that's what we did. We invited all kinds of folks, and people submitted their stories and put them in there, and we put it in the book. And really, for me, my original idea was like, I'm going to practice making a book, because I did it for Isolt. Had no idea what I was doing, and you know, and it worked kind of. I think I made around $300 with it, and then even though I failed and then I did the 9-volt one. And it turned out, you know, people really people are enjoying the comics. People liked submitting to the comics. The idea that you can kind of make your own entertainment is really cool. I don't know. And I was so glad to have Frank on, and Jacob Moore and Tibar jumped in real early with a bunch of great ideas. Some people, you know, had all kinds of things going on. Originally, Evan and I were going to do a thing where we were going to have like this character in the back of the book, the 9-volt book, that would be like the cyber mold that would talk about all of the different stories. He would go over the equipment for all of the characters that'd be in the story. Like, you know, here's Rabbit Fighter's crowbar, and here's the secrets to it and stuff like that. It was a lot of it was just kind of a lighthearted, jokey, you know, fun superhero comic. We, you know, we made an early decision not to have a lot of editorializing on it. You know, as long as you could meet the standards of 8 pages, black and white, PG rated, you know, about superheroes, we figured, you know, that was good enough. And I don't know, I'm so proud of all of you, right? So the fact that everyone got their stories together and put them in, for a lot of people, it was their very first thing that they've ever had published. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, Peter.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it shouldn't be the last one, right? You guys could go off and do it on your own. You saw how I did it. You could do it. I'm going to do more. So if you want to contribute more, that's great. The spirit of DIY is you don't need anybody else, really. You know, there's so many tools and so many opportunities out there.
Absolutely. And I've talked about this before, but, you know, one thing that's kind of interesting, just to continue with Peter here a little bit, is when he first started getting on the Discord, he just went wholehearted on this whole, like, just making comics thing. And, you know, he did his first comic or first couple comics, and he said, hey, you know, if anybody wants a copy of this, you know, let me know and I'll send you a copy. And, you know, I think we all jumped on it because we're all excited. We're like, oh, this is so cool. He actually did it. And
I think I sent out 40 copies of Rabbit Fighter #1. I had like Rabbit Fighter all the way up through 6 or 5. 5 or 6, and they started out as 1-pagers. Yeah, and people said, "Yeah, I want one." And I'm like, "Give me your address. I'll stuff an envelope full of them." You know, and I printed them out on my laser printer and
I love it. And that's again, DIY, do or die. Like, that's, you know, and you put a little bio in there saying, hey, this is kind of where I'm from and why I want to do this and why I'm doing this. And yeah. I remember back in the days when I used to do this, like, kind of punk rock stuff, and you know, when I read that, I was like, this is like exactly where I'm at, you know, like, and I just love what he's saying right now.
So it's funny, I had read this thing, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters had said, you know, I don't like those American Idol TV shows because it's telling people that the way to become a star is to get on one of these shows and knock it out of the park. And he says, I bought my first set of drums at a garage sale, and I had no idea what to do with them, and just started playing. and that's how he progressed, right? And I thought, well, that's a humble beginning right there, you know. And that's kind of how I started too. I think I wrote that in the letter. You know, my first band was like me and like 2 friends from high school. None of us knew how to play the instruments, but we just, we got instruments and then we started playing them.
Yeah. And there's that like classic, I guess, I don't know. I think it was from a zine or maybe from a punk rock album. I don't know where it was from, but there's like this classic like little paper and it's just scrawled across the paper like, and it just says, these are like 3 guitar chords. Now go start a band or something like that, and that's all you need. Like you just need a little bit and you can go at it, same with comics.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and everybody's gotten better too. That's the cool thing. We all started out at a sort of humble level. I certainly did. And then, even people that this was their first thing, I think Jacob had just one thing. Jacob had the Traveler, and which was good. And then, then he was doing the Muck, and it's like, it's great. I really love the Muck. I think it's a cool character. I think it's a cool little 8-pager that he did.
It's pretty cool.
So
because
proud of everyone.
You have like Swamp Thing, and you have all these different kind of swamp characters and stuff. What's the other one? Man Thing or something? I can't remember.
Man Thing, the Heap. There's the Heap, the Muck.
And he did the Muck. He found a new way to do that, and that's like so cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and there's other ones. There's a thing called Bog Beast from Charlton. No, it's Atlas Comics, I believe, had Bog Beast. And then, and it was, I see Monkey Wrench is on. Aaron, so glad that he stepped in and lent a professional touch to the thing.
I know.
This is wonderful cover
that
he came up with. You made everybody look good. Yeah.
Yeah, the cover was great.
And then,
appreciate that.
So glad to have Frank on there. Frank and Dale. This is so cool. It's a real triumph, I think, and there's no reason to stop. That we could still do more, and each one of us could do more.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so cool because, I put out this thing, early on in the year, make more comics. Let's do this challenge, see who could win. And, I just love that, like, it didn't become so far, it's still early in the year. Who knows? Maybe we could be at each other's throats, but so far it hasn't become this like competition thing where like, oh, I'm going to do better. You're going to do, it's nothing like that. Like everybody's helping each other make comics.
No, it's a good competition. It's healthy competition. It's not one-upsmanship. It's not disrespectful. It's more like, hey, you're using a Zipatone. I'm going to do some Zipatone. Try that out too. And people are growing their skills. I saw Teresa Del Pilar post her stuff from Graduation Nightmares.
Yep.
In there as well, and my Dave Hingley. Dave Hingley's one-pagers are getting better. Like they're approaching. They're definitely at the sort of Lushkin or I mean they're pro level. I love Dave Hingley's stuff, and he was going to submit something. He's like, it's really just it's a one-pager with 8 full panel pages, and I'm like, you could, but he only had 6, and he's like, you could put a couple more jokes in there because he has tons of jokes. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a superhero who couldn't find a place to transform into his costume, and so he was going from place to place, and it was kind of like the Batman bit from. Have you ever seen the classic Batman movie where he's got the bomb? You ever see that? Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. He's got the bomb. He's running around. He sees a bunch of nuns walk by. He's like, God, I can't throw it there. He runs over. There's some kids, like a marching band comes marching by. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. And Dave was doing that exact bit in his comic. And so it's probably still floating around out there somewhere because he ended up keeping it. He didn't submit it, but love Dave Hingley too.
He's gonna destroy us all with 1,000 little paper cuts. Like,
it's one at a time. Yep. Absolutely.
So Aaron, we didn't get a chance to to introduce you, man. Where can people find you?
You can probably find me best on Instagram as a Monkey Wrench, MKY Wrench. Other than that, you can go to aaronguzman.com. That's my basic website. I don't really push my YouTube channel because then it starts getting confusing with my business name and my avatar name. So I just stick to the Monkey Wrench on Instagram for now. I'm not even
You've
sure.
also got a great webcomic. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Talk about your webcomic.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm terrible at marketing. So I entered the Webtoons contest, short story contest with my cousin Stephanie. She's the writer, and she came up with this concept of a graffiti artist. Marshall, you'll appreciate that. It's basically a graffiti artist from the past that went missing and was supposedly dead. And he teams up with this surgeon, an ex-military surgeon, and they basically go off on some vigilante type of adventures, so to speak. So, yeah, that's up on Webtoons right now. It's called DR163, Doctor 163. And that's really actually like my first real webcomic that I've been putting together from beginning to end. Yeah, so.
That's awesome, man. Like I've said before, man, I love your art. I've gone on your Instagram and just perused multiple times. Like, it's just good stuff. And you did a really good job with the cover, man. I love how it looks. You sent that full res image, and I tried to print it out so much, but for some reason my printer doesn't want to do 11 by 17s, but I really want to print that thing in 11 by 17 and put it up on my wall.
Yeah, that thing should print out up to about 30 inches, I think, because I think I work at 600 DPI, so you should be able to get a pretty decent print out of that. But I appreciate everything you said, man. That was great. That's actually my first cover, and I appreciate Peter for letting me jump on that because I ran out of time and couldn't get my story done.
Oh, and, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
I just noticed Shell's in the chat as well.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that Shell Presto's helping with the editing and stuff, and she was gonna do. Was she gonna do a story, or she never was gonna do a story?
She was gonna do the cover. Actually, she was our. No, actually, wait. I take that back. She was gonna do the back cover. I think it was the back cover. I'm looking at her chat to see if she'll say anything, but I believe she was going to do the back cover, but she had like about a zillion things going on. Yeah. So, it was one of those things where, when you have a project like this, no one's getting paid. The only person getting paid is the publisher. So, you're basing it on whatever priorities the creators can come up with. So, you can't blame anybody who suddenly has a commitment, like a real commitment. Yeah. And that happened to a couple of people. But that's fine. And so, I was prepared to go it alone. I was like, I'll draw the cover. I'm not a great cover maker. I don't think. I did one cover before for Result, which is very simple. And we had the original cover was Evan. Evan was still going to do the cover for a while, but then he had to drop out of that as well. So the cover passed through several hands. I think Tibar finally took over the back cover and did this incredible thing. Came up with this character called 9 Volto or something like that. It was a joke character. This Tibar, I wish he was here. I wonder if he's in the chat there. And it was so funny. So I took that, and I was going to make that character kind of like the mascot. So I took him and stuck him in various places of the book. Yeah, that's the character on the back there. Yep. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool and iconic.
Shadow on the cover.
This is after Kirby.
Yep. Yeah. I love his style. Timar's got this wonderful cartoony style. It's very underground looking. Yeah. What's that look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Every time I look at it's like no matter which way you put the book, it looks awesome. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
So also Mr. Frank Salazar, who's showing some cool images.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? Where can people find you, sir?
Well, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Salazar Art Nation. Also Instagram, same name. I do have a Linktree account, so that has all my links, and I'll send that to you if you want to post it up somewhere.
Yeah,
But it's also
put
at
all the
Salazar
links
Art
in-
Nation.
Yeah, I'll put all the links in the description. You guys definitely send me whatever links you want to send, and I'll put them in there.
Frank, is this your first comic
First,
that you did? Yeah, your first 8-pager?
Like this?
Yeah.
I did a mini comic, a really small. I think I have a copy here. Actually, it's right behind me.
Yeah, I think you sent me one, right? Pretty sure you sent me one.
I might have. I think I sent. Yeah, I think I sent to you, or I sent you like a JPEG of it. But
Although, yeah, yep. I'm looking through my. I don't have my camera working, but yeah, I got a bunch of the little baby ones myself. The little ones.
Is that a 1 hour comic challenge comic?
I tried, but it took me a month.
That's okay.
Like it was gonna be a 1 hour comic challenge.
Roughly 1,080 hours. That's okay.
Yeah, it went over.
I failed the 1 hour challenge myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most
but
people do.
I printed out a
I
bunch of
do.
these. I sent them out. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so I printed out a whole bunch. I think like 20 of them or more. I sent a bunch out. I sent one to Scott Circling. I've been showing them around, and there was always the excuse like I'm gonna do small ones, and then I'll work on my story when I have time. And then I got into the Discord, and Peter was like, "We're doing an anthology." I was doing it on the fly, like, this will look good or that will look good. So like, I did the story as it was coming to me.
That's awesome. That's what I tried to do with Expando, but for some reason, it just got bigger. That's what happens with every story. It always gets bigger than you want it to get.
Yeah, the storytelling tends to stretch out. When I started out, I was doing these little the minis, just like Frank was showing for Rabbit Fighter, and you get in like a scene, and it's basically a small scene. And I think Marsh, you had the one video about it. And you said, well, something's got. You could tell a joke, you can have a change happen to the character, but it's the 8 pages really amount to just about 8 panels. I mean, you could split a panel, but it's 8 panels, so not a lot's going to happen. And then suddenly you're stretching out to. I was doing the half size mini comics, the ash can size, and those were 6 pages and 8 pages, and then
I'm working on one right now.
Yeah, crawl, walk, run, right? So you're at the crawl stage, and you're probably at the walk stage now, right? Then eventually we'll all be running. My hope.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, this thing. People. I was thinking about this today. Like, people get so uptight about comics or whatever they're trying to do, and they want to make they see beautiful comic art, beautiful stories, really cool stuff, and they want to do the same. They want to live up to maybe the stuff they look up to, or they want to even maybe surpass that. Who knows? They're just really ambitious. That's great. That's awesome. I'm really ambitious. Trust me. You guys haven't even seen half the stuff I want to do. But like, at the same time, you got to start somewhere, and action to me is way more important than kind of preparation. You know what I mean? Like action and getting something out there, and the fact of again, finished not perfect. Jake Parker, he really brought that to the table, and
Absolutely.
There's been some debate, for sure, but and I've dealt with it on my channel, quality versus quantity. But the thing is, man, there's nothing like doing your first comic. I mean, Frank, like, you got something published. Like, this is so cool. Like, I mean, I feel every time I get something new published,
I went from
there's
this.
another like spoke in the chain or whatever. There's another like link in the chain. Now I can move up.
Yeah.
And I get better and better each time.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are too afraid to put themselves out there, but you gotta try.
Yep. There's an interesting video. It's a program that's called the Marshmallow Challenge. Have you ever heard of the Marshmallow Challenge?
I haven't.
It's not stuffing a bunch of marshmallows in your mouth. It's one where you build a tower.
Money, right?
I've done that.
Yeah, no. You get spaghetti.
I've done
they
that.
do this for big corporations. They have spaghetti and one marshmallow and I think it's like a yard of masking tape and a yard of string. And they for like leadership conferences, they'll divide people up into teams and say build the tallest tower within 15 minutes, right? And adults fail at this over and over, and yet kindergarten kids can build a tower that's 36 inches high with the spaghetti and the marshmallow. And the reason they can do it is because they prototype. They start out by building a little tower, and then or they build a slightly medium tower that falls over. They figure, oh wait, no, I need this over here. So the adults will build the whole tower, and at the end, at the 15-minute mark, they put the marshmallow on and it collapses. And the reason kids can do it is because they prototype. And so that's in a sense, that's what we're doing. Is we're prototyping. We're starting with the mini comics. We went on to the ash can size. Now we did this, this anthology. And you got to get somewhere, right? It's that thing about everybody's got drawings. Everybody's got to get through their first 1,000 bad pages, or 1,000 comic book pages. Before they get somewhere. And that sounds like an impossible number, right? But it's not an impossible number. I counted just since August of last year, I've got 130, or actually not way more than that. I've got now I'm up to something like 180. So that's 18% of 1,000. There you
go. Wow, that's a lot.
that's almost a fifth. So
180 pages. Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you can think about it. I did 40 pages in this book. I got 40 pages I haven't published yet, 24 pages with Yield, 20 pages with Corbeau. I've got each one of those webcomics I've did. I'm up to like episode 26 or something like that. Each one of those is a oversized page. It's like basically 2 squares on top of each other. It's not a regular comic book size. I just had to convert it to the webtoons. And yeah, they just start to pile up after a while. I think when I first met Shell, she had an article. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, that's what I do with this page because I was already like, I'm close to the deadline, so I'll make just a huge panel, but I split it into a small panel and like big panel.
Yeah.
There's some of the shortcuts, just make them bigger.
So when I first met Shell, she had said something like, nobody really cares about your original characters. And it's totally true. But you care. Like, I care about my character. You care about your characters. If you just bull through it, right? You just start hammering your way through it. Somebody's going to care. I've been reading this book called Men of Tomorrow, which is the story of the golden age of comics from 1930. It starts out 1936 or so with Harry Donenfeld and these guys that were publishing comics and the guys who made them. And listen to this crazy story. You've probably heard of Lev Gleason. Lev Gleason is the guy that created the original Daredevil, not the Daredevil we know from Marvel Comics, but the Fox, the guy who had the red and blue costume and throws boomerangs. Yeah. They brought him back as Death-Defying Devil. So what happened with this character is it was winter in New York in like 1936, and they were given an opportunity to buy a bulk amount of comic book paper, but they had to buy it and have something printable by that weekend. So all these guys get together in an apartment, and over a weekend, and it's like 30 guys get together over a weekend, and they just start making comics, right? And they're up all night. And this scene is also, they actually took the scene and they put it in The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. They fictionalized it, but it's a true story. They stay up all night making all these characters, one of which is Daredevil, and they make all these guys. And then that night in the morning, a blizzard hits, and everything's completely shut down. And so finally, so they got the paper, and they got the comic printed, and in the morning there was no food, so they sent one guy out to go try and find food, and he finds the only thing he could find was eggs. They had nothing to cook it on, so they go into the bathroom and they break up the tiles, and they cooked it in the they cooked these eggs in the bathtub on the tiles, and that's how desperate. That's how desperate comic book creators were, and these were kids. These were young men. Joe Kubert was 14 years old. Will Eisner was 18 years old when they started hammering away at this stuff. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, they were called the kids from Ohio who came up with Superman, right?
Wow.
There was just so much energy. That's why they call it the Golden Age. Everybody was making something, you know. I know you showed me Comic Book Plus, which has all of that stuff on there. You can go and look at. I think it's under Fox.
Yeah, I gotta get a hands on that book you're talking about, because that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
read that.
It's called Men of Tomorrow. I got it. I got it from the library once, but I got it off of Amazon. I actually bought it.
Nice. I wanted to also ask you, Len, what has your experience been, kind of in the Discord and working on your comic? Because I've seen some really cool stuff from you working on what you're working on, and you've just recently finished the cover, and it's just really cool. Like, what tell us a little bit about your journey with the comic you're working on right now.
So it actually started off as an idea for the anthology. I quickly realized that it was going to be way more involved than really for the anthology. And I was just at a place where I wasn't really ready to jump into that yet. So I just pulled out of that, and I decided to keep working on it. And it went from being the 8 or 10 pages it was going to be in the anthology to now it's going to be 6 22-page comics. So, and I have all the characters, the story. I have the whole first story written, and then of course the other 5 comics. They're just kind of, I basically have an idea or an overview of what I want to do in those stories, and then I'll write those as I go along. And but prior to this, I had done a buddy of mine. We used to be in a band together, and he used to do this radio show at the end of the year. We had this Christmas party, and this radio show had 2 fake radio hosts. And I always thought it would be a funny idea to do it as a comic book. So I'd started researching this last year, and I did the story and the thumbnails and all that last year. And I told him, I said, okay, after the holiday break, I'm going to do it. And I gave myself 90 days because I watched a lot. I watched your video, Marsh. I watched a lot of the videos that you've talked about here and on the Discord. And I was like, okay, well, I think I can do a 22-page comic in full color in 3 months. And I'd never, ever, ever done a comic ever. I mean, I used to draw, comic book stuff when I was a kid, but I never did a whole comic. And so I did in 1 month, I did all the pencils, another month I did all the inks, and another month I did all the colors. And we're still waiting to publish it. He didn't want to publish it while the pandemic was going on because he actually wants to sell it, which is fine. It's kind of, the characters are his idea, so I don't want to, I did all the work, but I give him, I guess, the privilege of when we release it. But this, this stuff that I'm doing now, almost everything I'm doing now is from the stuff I've learned from people on the Discord. They're sharing videos, they're sharing tutorials. And of course, I've got a few friends of my own that either have done comics in the past or are getting ready to do it. I'm hoping to get a couple of them to join the Discord once they kind of get their feet underneath them. And from that, I've basically kind of just started working my way towards this goal. And right now I've got the cover done. I've got 5 pages all the way colored. And then I have another 5 pages that are penciled. And then I still have to go through and do the second half of the comic that I'd never planned until after I decided that I was going to go a different direction with this. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I was really, I was kind of excited to see that they put the AAA logo on there. I wasn't expecting that, but that was cool.
I was
because
excited too.
Yeah, because it really is. It's just the folks on the Discord, right? That's all that's really in there. And I was really happy to see that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like that because I think every comic, whether you're the publisher or not, every comic needs to have a brand. And I was really excited to see that our brand was on there, and it's a good way to, it's a good way to market for you guys that are going to be, trying to sell it, or at least, if nothing else, get your name out there. We can create some ads with that online. We can create videos. We can do whatever with it. But that's just really cool because it all points back to the Discord. So
yeah,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's what's really cool, about this anthology is, kind of Peter started it as an experiment to figure out, this whole publishing thing, and Sir Handsome as well, which I really wish his stuff was in there because I love what I've been seeing from him.
He's going to get there. I talked to him the other day, and he's worked out all the stuff that he had to work out. He's got a bunch of stuff that's like 90% done. And he's got that whole he's got Dungeon World. He's got another thing that's a fantasy thing. He actually went to the Kubert School. He's a Kubert School graduate.
Oh, wow.
Back when it was taught by Joe Kubert. So, yeah, he lends an air of respectability.
Not only that, he won my heart when he started, when he was kind of going with the influence of Sergio Aragonés, because Sergio Aragonés is he's like one of my favorite. Yeah.
I used to love Plop. Do you remember Plop? That was a DC.
I know of it. I haven't read any of the stuff, but I know of it.
I know you won't see it in my art, but every time I'm doing breakdowns and stuff like that, that's who I'm picturing. Funny enough, I mean, you could kind of see it with the way I have the legs spread apart like 500 feet when I draw. But that's a Sergio Aragonés influence for me.
It's funny. It's funny, Sergio. Everybody knows who he is, what he does. It's pretty obvious. He's kind of got his thing. But I think he's kind of understated as one of the comic book greats for sure. He's got something to what he does for sure. And if you were to really study his stuff, just because his stuff is cartoony and goofy and funny, that doesn't mean there's not some sophistication in there. It's some pretty amazing stuff what he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Shy Guy, Dale.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what was your journey like with creating the comic for this anthology?
Well, I really got back into drawing just like a year or so ago, After watching your how to make a mini comic video, I decided, okay, I'm going to do it. And it took me longer than an hour, but I think I did it in 24 hours. And so then, I was like, okay, then we have to continue on. Then Peter came up with this opportunity to be included in an anthology, and I was like, well, I can't pass that up. So, I've written some short stories that were published in the past, but my art and stuff, I haven't really focused on it in about 20 years or so, and I've slowly started getting back into it in the past year, and getting involved with the Discord channel has been a big part of that.
That's a really big step of not being so much focused on it, and then okay, I'm going to be in an anthology. Were you nervous at all?
I don't know. I mean, I mentioned before, Peter said similar similar things in the past, but we've talked about it on the Discord, how you, at a certain point, you just have to like, okay, I'm just going to put this out here. I know it's rough around the edges. I know it's not going to, you know, match the standards of, you know, the comic book artists and creators that I look up to, but I just want to get something out there and finish it and complete it and put it out there for the world to see. So you kind of have to swallow your fear a little bit, I guess, and just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to me, that's
it's kind of interesting that that comic book plus site.
That's what the whole Discord is all about, and I love how Peter kind of, I don't know, it's weird because I feel like this is what I want out of the Discord, and Peter put this down, and I'm like, exactly, like he's right in line, like it's. So I'm sorry, I kind of talked over you there a little bit, Peter, but.
No, it's totally. Apparently, Brian Eno has joined the stream. I'm hearing this tubular bell sound coming out. But the plus side that you showed everybody, you can see the original art for that Bill Everett did. You know, when he was making Namor, the Submariner, and he's at a level that is close to where a lot of the people on the Discord are right now. And then if you go forward 20, 30 years, you can see how good he is. He becomes incredible, right? So, you know, if you can see Bill Everett's progression from his very first, his earliest art to what he eventually ends up, you can see that it's within your grasp. It's within everybody's grasp to become great. You know, to get there. I think one of his first things was called Dirk the Demon. It's an absolutely stupid comic with a kid who finds a time capsule. He goes in there and there's a hobo, and then he literally shoots the hobo who is trapped in the time capsule, and that's the end of the comic. And it's poorly drawn, and it's like, and it reads like one of my one pagers, and I'm like, that's Bill Everett, you know, and then. This is the guy who did Supervillain Team-Up, you know, in 1973. So, and which is one of my favorite comics of all time, you know. So, it's within everyone's grasp to become great. Is where I'm going with this crazy story, and you know, you just got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
and there's nobody stopping you.
I mean, honestly, like even if you look at some of your favorite artists, like try to find. You know what they were doing when they were first starting. You know, even Kirby, like you know his. I mean, literally the first Captain America cover. Like, there's the anatomy, or like not even the cover, but like if you just flip through a couple pages of it, like. Yep. The anatomy is all over the place. Like it doesn't even make sense, you know. And later on, he abstracts the anatomy in really interesting ways. Maybe he doesn't know anatomy. I don't know, but whatever he does, he made it work. You know.
Yeah. He never went to art school. You know, Jack Kirby never went to art school.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah, I didn't know.
He's in that Man of Tomorrow book. He never went. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you, wherever you're from, you know, wherever you're at, I should say, you can start from there, you know, and you're gonna get somewhere if you know, and everybody's got different goals, you know. You don't have to like have a career desire like someone like I might have or other people might have. You can just want to like contribute and be part of the community, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is totally valid, and it's totally fun, you know. Like everybody is happy to be involved in this thing, and I don't know, it's just really, it's pretty cool. One other thing I wanted to kind of bring up here was you know, I don't think this is the end of the 9-Volt anthology. We have a really cool thing here. I'm proud to see what Peter's done and what everybody's done. But I think we have some more to express. What do you think, Peter?
Absolutely, we're gonna do a sequel. The sequel is the pulp sequel. The question often comes up: what is pulp? Pulp is, to me, it's action and adventure. It can encompass genres like superheroes, but it can also encompass all kinds of other genres as well. And I'm kind of getting interested in things like war and western and sci-fi. I know Monkey Wrench over there has done some incredible sci-fi comics. He's at least done stuff in the art share that I've seen that's really incredible. So we're hoping people will jump in on the pulp one too. And it's already got a 20-page story. I'm going to put Corbeau in this one first. That one's already done. Same deal as before. It's going to get published regardless. But if anybody else wants to jump in there, it could be yours too. It could be something that you can take credit for as well. So, we're not going to editorialize beyond meeting our very simple standards. This goes out to anybody watching this video. If you want to get involved and add your comic to our PG-rated, anthology, I would love to speak to you. So come join the Discord, the AAA Creators Discord, and we'll show you all the stuff that we know, and maybe it'll get you started. Maybe you're a star in waiting out there somewhere.
Absolutely. I definitely want to be a part of it. Hopefully I can. It's another 8 pages on top of all the other stuff I have to do, but we'll see what happens. I kind of have more time on my hands, so maybe I can kind of set aside a weekend and see what I can do. But yeah, I don't know.
You couldn't do Expando, and you got that done.
I know it took way too long though. Like it took. It was supposed to take about a month or so, and then I think I had people waiting for me at some point. But it got it done eventually. I was trying to expand Expando to 10 pages, but then I was like, nope, the time is come. Let's finish this.
That's what I ended up doing.
Absolutely.
I expanded it 10 pages.
That's what you did?
Sorry. Yeah, like it was just gonna be 8. Like I want to do my minimum of 8, and like I'm gonna have to do 2 more. So the last day of the deadline, I was like, oh, almost.
Hey, somebody mentioned, I think, in the Discord something about collaborating. So I mean, I don't know what my schedule is going to be like around.
Oh yeah.
Time. So
I thought we'd try something new. If some people want to write and not draw, or maybe they want to draw and not write, right? We have a place for you to meet up and to form teams. People I'd like to team up. I'd like to team up with everybody. I would super love to team up with Evan if he's out there, or anybody. And what else was I going to tell you? Oh, the person who's not here and who I wish was here is Fogbreaker. Jason Alexander. Right? He shows up at the end. The deadline is already done. And he goes, I got something. Yeah, I got something. And I know you've already hit your deadline. I'm like, well, we're kind of waiting because we're waiting for the cover because of issues. And it's like, can I still get in? I'm like, absolutely. So I hope he watches this. Fogbreaker, thank you. Because of Fogbreaker, we actually had 9 creators, right? We're counting the cover artist and the editor. And then 9 stories. And so it made it make more sense.
There it is.
That was not planned at all. But I'm super happy that Fogbreaker got in on there. It was kind of funny that where he jumped in right at the end there.
There was a lot of coincidental 9s in this, wasn't there? I remember you guys were talking about, there's 9 creators, and then somebody else said there's 9 this, and then there's 9 that.
Yeah, there's 9 stories, there's 9 creators.
That's how I've been promoting 9 creators, 9 stories, 9 votes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wish we thought of it ahead of time. That we could have marketed it better. Not that we're even marketing, but this is our marketing right here. Like,
I've been promoting it. So.
Yeah, I would encourage you guys. I share the link to this thing I'm on like, I don't know, probably 24 different Facebook groups, and they're all indie groups or whatever, and I just pop the link in there. Hey, bunch of friends of mine put this together, check it out. So
that's cool. I appreciate
Dale
that.
had a great idea. There's a guy that does reviews named, he's got a kind of a fanzine called Jam Creates, and he actually does reviews and things like that. And he reviewed my earlier comic, and I contacted him. I said, "Would you do another one?" He's like, "Absolutely." So I'm sending him a copy.
Cool.
Because I've kind of known him for about a year. And there was one other thing. Oh, we've sold 60 copies now.
Wow.
Just so
really?
you know, 60 copies have
Nice.
actually gone to people. So that's good.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I didn't even
Besides
know
us or all together?
that. What's that, Frank?
That's 60 besides us or all in total, Peter?
I think he's saying it's in total, right? Or
Total?
It's 60. It's 60 total right now. I hope I'm not the one causing all the weird noises. if I hit mute, so it's 60 copies right now as of today. I can go check it later on, and I'll give you an updated number.
so I wonder if that if that's some of us buying multiple copies or not. I only bought one copy, but I figure people can buy it on their own, so I don't need to buy it and sell it. Maybe if I do a show someday, I'll buy some more.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to have it available at cost, just to keep the cost down, because it is essentially a practice book, right? This is where we're all kind of getting, and people are going to remember us for the next one, and then pretty soon we'll point back and go, here's the 4 books that we're already in, and then here's the, maybe this is the new one. By that time, crawl, walk, run will all be running, right? Once we're running, they're collector's items or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be really cool. This is like the first appearance of Muck.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
First appearance of Captain Courage.
yeah, Captain Courage, all of them, man. Like everybody came with it with the creativity. So I think it's pretty cool.
This might be worth something someday.
I know, right? I've seen that image so many times. I'm like, that's classic right now.
So the cards are coming along too. There are going to be trading cards that go with this
Is
project.
there like a plan? Like, are people going to be able to buy those, or how's that going to go?
I'm going to send them out for free as much as I can.
Wow, you're a pretty awesome guy, man.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I figured it'd be cool just to thank everybody for doing it, and also just for fun. I mean, I've never done the trading cards yet either. I kind of wanted to figure out how it worked, and also wanted to figure out how Kablam worked. Wow, you weren't kidding. That website is crazy, and no one will talk to me. But somebody finally did get back to me, and they said that they'll be ready by the end of the month. So,
Yeah.
there you go.
I can't believe you even tried, because they're yeah. Well,
They did
back
give
in
me
the
an
day,
excellent
Kablam was
price
the
on
only
it.
game in town, but they're not the only game anymore.
Yeah, they're definitely not the only game in town. They have a great price on that card.
What's that?
Originally it was $8. It went down to $6.60.
Oh, okay.
So that was a good price for 20 cards. So you can't beat the price.
Yeah, that's true. So with all that, I think we've talked around this a bit, and again, if anybody is interested in reading what we're talking about, there is a link in the description, and I'm going to be for people watching the replay, I'm going to be putting links for everybody in there too. And yeah, I would just encourage you guys, come check it out. I also have to put a link in there for the Discord, but if you're like, like you just like, oh, this is really cool what they're doing, I want to join the Discord, and I haven't put the link in, just go to all my other videos, look at the link feed, the Discord is in there, like you'll be able to find it. But that being said, I just want to thank everybody for hanging out with us, watching this. Shell Presto's been very active in the chat, so is Acid Lace and other people. Thanks for hanging out with us in the chat. And everybody else, thank you for joining me on this roundtable. And let's see, real quick, Len Jennings, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook at Newland Media, and you can also find me on YouTube at Newland Media as well.
Awesome. Frank, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Salazar Art Nation. Instagram, same name. I just started a Facebook, mainly just to join groups. I'm under Salazar, Frank Salazar, so you should be able to find me pretty quickly.
Sweet.
And,
How about you, Aaron? Where can people find you?
All right. You can find me on Instagram as Monkey Wrench, MKYWRENCH. It's the easiest spot.
Awesome. Peter, what about you?
I'm on Instagram as RabbitFighter13, and also I've got my webcomic, which is on tapis.io/series/ I think it's Vulture Squadron Season 2 now is the new updated link. So I'll try and stick the link somewhere. Anyways, yeah, updated almost daily.
Awesome. And Shy Guy, you said you don't really have much of a link, but again,
I do have a NeoCities page. I can throw that out there.
Okay, do that. What is it?
The installation.neocities.org.
All right. So if anybody wants to check his stuff out, check him out there. And you guys know where to find me, donkeyjawprojects.com and Marsh Comics on TikTok and Twitter, and not on Facebook and not on Instagram for some reason. But other than that, you guys know where to find me. And thanks for watching, everybody. You guys all rock, and we'll see you on the next one.
Marsh, thanks so much.
Hey guys, take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Peter, thank you, Peter, for